So let's start talking about the messy portion of your crafting project here. My apologies, my apron is a little discombobulated here. And you're only seeing part of me, but the important part is going to be right here. So the first thing I want to say is that you should definitely set yourself up sort of a dirty place to work while you're working with the clay. Okay? I've done that by putting, we've got this old piece of plywood on a couple of sawhorses down here in the basement. Even so, I don't want things sticking to the sawhorses, to the plywood or anything like that. And so I put a piece of paper down and taped it down using my masking tape. If you do this at home, I strongly suggest you use the masking tape because it'll lift off. I then also put down a piece of aluminum foil. This could be a scrap piece of plastic, it could be a plastic bag. The aluminum foil will not stick to the paper won't stick to it as easily, and if it does, it'll be a little easier for me to get it off of there, is why I chose some foil. The paper, of course, the glue is going to want to stick to the paper. You're going to be working with a paper process, okay? All right, so what this video is actually about is about clays, okay? You were sent a little block of clay in some sort of unusual color. This is an extra block. It happens to be bright blue. Some are more hot pink. Some are more earth tones. I don't know. This is an oil-based clay. Didn't try this before doing the video, so we'll see if the paper's going to want to come off of it. And indeed it does. The color won't affect the outcome of your product at all on this. So it doesn't really matter what color it is. It does matter that you need to get it out of the paper though. There's the edge. Okay. This is a more traditional modeling clay. You are, I'm sure, quite used to this from your days in various places in art classes. It takes a little bit of effort to work with it, okay, to get it to move and shape. One of the things that will help you in terms of working with this clay is to warm it up with your body heat. Okay. All right, but it's an oil-based clay, so once you get your figure sculpted out of this, it won't dry out. It will maintain its shape and will keep will stay moist, and you'll be able to smush it back down and do it all over again. Okay? I'm going to show you two other kinds of clay that we use. One of them is also an oil-based clay, this right here. Okay? This is plastilina, which makes several different kinds of oil-based clays. This one is super, super hard. Okay? The way in which I work with this usually is a carving method. Okay? When you're working with the softer clays, you can do what is called additive sculpting in addition to subtractive sculpting, right? So I have this, let's say this is my block. I'm going to take a chunk and I'm going to give my block a nose, okay? This is additive sculpting, okay? There we go. I don't know how well you can see that, but I've put a little protrusion on the side of my clay there, okay? And it was pretty straightforward and easy to do this. This clay, you can also do an additive process, but it is very, very hard. You can see over on this end where I attempted to like break a piece off, okay? This is not how this clay really wants to be worked with. This clay wants to be worked with in a subtractive way. And so what that means is that you would use some shaping tools for working with this clay. Let's see, I'm going to cut, I hope you can see that. I'm cutting that off of there. And see, I just cut a chunk off. You see how crisp it is. Now, it does go together. It does become, again, another little wad of clay, okay? But again, This clay is for working with sculpting tools and mostly carving it down. Okay, so that's the plastilina. This is another clay you would find in our clay cabinet down here in the basement. Okay, what you would be using if you were actually in the space with me is a water-based clay, which is over here, like way outside of the camera range in this tub. It is, reach in and get a part out. Okay, it is very, very soft. Okay, really easy to work with and very, very smooth. Okay, for sculpting. The reason why I didn't want to send this to you is that it is pretty fussy. In other words, you have to work to keep it moist. Okay, it's not going to maintain its malleability like this clay will. Okay, so if you do this and then you have to walk away from it, you're going to have to very carefully cover it with wet towels. As you can see from my hands and what my apron looks like when I'm done working with something like this, it's a very, very messy clay. So that's why you didn't get this sent to you. But this is what we use the most often in the basement here in Montgomery. Okay, and it's in this tub. I'll try to get a better shot of that for you later. It has to stay in the tub because it's sealed up in a plastic bag, and it has a big old wet towel in the bin with it. It's just kind of a big deal. So what you're going to be working with to sculpt your figure is this block of clay. Okay, and again, you're going to want to heat it. You're going to want to work it. It's going to take some hand strength. A trick my kids used to use in the Waldorf school with clay and wax and those kinds of things, you can put it under your armpit and heat it up a little more. I tend to find if I just work with it a lot, I will get it into a shape. Okay? So, what kind of shape do you want to make with this? Well, that's sort of up to you. What I will suggest is that your shape be flat on one side and raise up from that. Okay? So this shape could be a face for some sort of puppet or object to manipulate. It could be a it could be a shape that might go on the back wall or on some facade on your box for your stage space. Any one of those things. Okay. What I am going to do, I'm going to go away and I am going to sculpt something here, and I will show you what I mean in the next video.